Hey guys, today we're going back to Reggie and I'm going to fulfill my promise. I did say the next Reggie video would be the Fallout one, the one you've all been wanting me to watch. It's 37 minutes, so lock in, drink a piss, go get some food, whatever, lock the fuck in. We're doing this, let's go.
Introduce you to a world where bullets were never invented. Instead, humanity went straight to nuclear weapons, meaning that every
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I already know where this is going now.
From a homemade pistol to a minigun is capable of unleashing Armageddon upon your enemies. In this
Why isn't that in Fallout? Why isn't that in Fallout? Bro, it's so hard to get mini nukes. That would be so a mini nuke chain gun, yes.
There are only 3 rules. 1, you shoot first or you don't shoot at all. 2, you should always have a backup plan in case you run out of ammo. And the most important of all is that water gun fights are now strictly off limits. In a post-apocalyptic setting such as this, there's only one thing left to do. Slavery. If you've ever watched a soot-encrusted Indonesian man mining sulfur for 7 cents a day and thought to yourself, damn, he's ripping us all off, then I have news for you, because we are the same person. All of that is to say, I'm a big fan of capitalism, and when it comes to maximizing shareholder
capitalism,
value,
let's go.
does it better than Nuka-World. Some people will call this a defunct amusement park taken over by erotic cosplayers, but really, it's just a different kind of amusement now, because we have hundreds of people forced into slave labor using explosive collars. From the moment I saw this 8 years ago, I knew it was my destiny to be the CEO of this wonderful business. So that's our goal. Utilize weapons of mass destruction to take over Nuka-World and usher in an era of mega slavery. Can we succeed?
Mega slavery is a term I never in a million years would have thought would exist until now. Holy shit.
Will we be stopped by literally anyone with a gun? There's only one way to tell. But first, I have to watch my wife.
Oh wait, I didn't even realize. I didn't realize at first just him with nukes. It's like, oh, this is gonna be easy. Everybody has. Oh, I know this part. Oh no. Yeah.
That part plays out a little differently in the timeline. So my wife and son were vaporized in a thermonuclear blast. Unfortunate, but from their ashes a hero was born. We escape the vault and enter into a world whose color scheme could best be described as 50 shades of vomit. From here, we could go straight to Nuka-World, but we're level 1, and we have about as many items as a paranoid schizophrenic who thinks the government is spying on him through his microwave.
But they are. That's exactly what they're doing. You're right. You're right. That's exactly what they're doing.
We'll spend a few hours gathering supplies and trying to reach level 15, at which point we should be ready. I saunter my way into what I assume is modern-day Los Angeles, at which
It's more like modern day UK. Let's be real. I'm the one gonna throw the shade at fucking my own country now. This is modern day UK.
Robot attempts to socialize with me, but
see, it's even a Cockney robot. Typical.
So instead, I jump on top of my neighbor's roof and dive headfirst into a pool of radioactive sewage. That ought to throw them off. Our first goal is to find a gun, because the power spike from punching things to nuking things is pretty substantial. After wandering around, I find a dead body with a revolver on it, and upon testing it out on some nearby wildlife, I was both excited and terrified at the world I had created.
Oh my god.
I made my way into a nearby town, where usually a small group of bandits is fighting with some Minutemen. But now, a small group of bandits is committing a nuclear holocaust with some Minutemen. And if you think this is bad, you should have seen it before we reduced the explosion effects. Anyway, I tried silently assassinating the raiders. This was met with very limited success. Eventually, I got tired of role-playing as a high-altitude weather balloon, so I nuked the bandits and entered the museum to help the Minutemen. Or rather, I tried to enter the museum, because as dangerous as nuclear warfare is outside, it's 10 times worse inside. And I got spawn killed for about 20 minutes before I finally made it past the front door. But by that point, I had been ground zero for roughly 35 nuclear detonations. My ears were ringing, my retinas were fried, and there was a very distinct possibility of me vomiting all over my keyboard. But my noble goal gave me the strength to continue. From here, I went room by room.
Fuck off.
Clearing out the raiders in close quarters combat. This is a fantastic way to learn the exact blast radius of a nuclear bomb. Because if you're off by even an inch, your limbs will eject from your body like rocket-propelled grenades.
This is insane. I get why you wanted me to watch this now. This is
Eventually, I made it to
insane.
Preston Garvey, who wasted no time complaining about how
Do you mean Preston
hard his
Gravy?
life is. Just wait until he hears about my plans for Nuka-World. Preston had me climb up to the roof and equip this suit of power armor. I was feeling very confident until a drug-fueled maniac popped out from around a corner and gave me both barrels of a shotgun, a phrase which has recently intensified in meaning since each pellet is now its own nuke. Honestly, I had a lot of difficulty at this section because the minigun takes half a second to spin up, and if a raider happens to squeeze out even a single shot in that time, it's all over.
How does, bro? How does this not like crash your game? Like, I don't think the creative engine or the creation engine can handle this kind of shit, right? This must melt your
But if I've learned
PC.
anything from watching a homeless man avoid arrest by drinking his vodka out of an antifreeze bottle, it's that necessity breeds innovation. Come to think of it, that might have actually just been antifreeze. Regardless, I pioneered a new combat strategy. That is the mortar technique. Instead of shooting at my enemies, I just kind of carpet bomb.
That's so clever. That is so fucking clever.
With poorly aimed artillery.
But this right here appeals to my inner Krieg, my inner Krieg person. I like artillery.
And it worked really well. From here, I jumped off the roof and did my best to crush Preston like an ant.
What are you, crazy?
When that failed, I settled for finishing off the raiders and laughing at the Deathclaw's attempt to intimidate me. Following this, I went inside, Preston thanked me, and Mama Murphy gave me the perfect setup for a joke.
We're all gonna die eventually.
Yep.
Oh
After
no.
reloading, we all went to Sanctuary and started drinking from the same toilet bowl because we are now friends. In fact, Sturgis asked me if I could build everyone some beds so they didn't have to sleep underneath bridges and inside of burnt-out cars. I looked him straight in the eye and said I would do that. Of course, I was lying. In fact, I immediately left Sanctuary and never contacted any of these strange people again in my entire life.
Bro.
At this point, we're level 3 and I've got a decent selection of guns, but I'd still like to gain access to some better perks before taking on Nuka-World. So I began doing odd
just go
jobs
now.
around the wasteland. First mission, a filthy woman wants me to go to this place and kill all of these people. No problem. I travel to the Corvega factory and start using my mortar technique to soften up their defenses. It takes only 9 seconds for me to accidentally nuke myself. That's a personal best. Eventually, I make my way inside and begin atomizing the inhabitants while the building vibrates violently with each shot. Luckily, the other raiders convinced themselves it was just the wind. Now, you might think the best weapon for room clearing would be a shotgun, but you'd be wrong, and I found this out the hard way, because the spread on a shotgun
Yeah, because it all is a pellet, and every pellet is a nuke.
means it's almost impossible to aim it straight, and despite your best efforts, you will hit either the floor or the ceiling, and the resulting blast will almost certainly turn you into a human jigsaw puzzle. This happened to me more times than I'd like to admit, before I begrudgingly filed the double-barrel shotgun next to Reggie Fan Meetup in the category of things that sound fun but will probably get me killed. I also tried hacking into this cute
I was gonna say, a Reggie meetup would be fun. What do you mean? And then the second part came out. Oh, okay,
security robot, so he could help me clear out the bandits. He lasted all of 3
he's gonna fire
seconds
nukes
before they murdered him in cold blood.
No, Protectron, no!
This was the
Bro, what did the Protectron do? He was just chilling.
biggest mistake the raiders could have made, because his existence was the only thing stopping me from doing this.
Holy shit, this edit goes hard,
yes,
though.
Indeed, the bandits were dead. Completing this quest got us to level 6 and allowed me to unlock the Mysterious Stranger perk, which is now substantially
Please tell me he has a fucking nuke too.
more satisfying, because yes, he does shoot nuclear bombs.
Yes, let's
go! Still have a long way to go, so I continued on my quest to convert every living being into experience points. It went a little like this. I start the day with some train yard hobos. First you shoot them, then you beat them. 8 experience each. Also, tried my hand at cattle wrangling.
Didn't go so
I'm
well.
Natural. Shipyard? Break into a shipyard. It's full of murder crabs.
Didn't you miss the crabs?
No, it's not. Apparently, the owner was trying to domesticate them by playing soothing messages on the PA.
Oh?
It didn't work. That was a lot of effort. Let's go ahead.
Wait, I've prayed for it for. I've never
We take a
seen
rest
that.
for the
What?
night in this old building. Never mind, the universe hates us, and we've just been ambushed in our sleep by attack dogs. Plunge the
Oh
world
no!
into nuclear winter in retaliation. After that, I went to Bunker Hill, where I spent 20 minutes marveling at the ugliest human being I have ever seen. Which is strong words coming from someone who looks in the mirror every morning. Once I was done, I went to the Drum and Diner to try to negotiate peace between some raiders and the store owner. When I told the lady I wouldn't be taking her side, she presented me with a very compelling argument. Oh my god, what the fuck? But two can play at that game. Say what you want, but this is the fastest method of de-escalation. Following this,
You know what? He's not wrong. As much as I don't want to admit, he's
we
not
got a quest
wrong.
to kill everyone inside this preschool. Don't worry, the kids
Oh,
are already
no.
dead. We're just killing the raiders. I nuked every room with extreme prejudice, but still died
Was
anyway.
that a freaking FBI office I'm watching? Oh, it was as well.
We're just killing the raiders. I nuked every room with extreme prejudice, but still died anyway because the whole place is booby-trapped and tripwire guns now fire atomic bombs. But it's okay, because we can always retreat to the public bathroom to brew more health potions. Eventually, I find their leader and introduce him to the concept of a glory hole before stuffing his charred corpse into a garbage bin. Finally, I finish by releasing
As a sane person would
all of
do.
his
Yeah,
captives,
yeah.
except for you. Someone has to stay behind to tell the people about my good deeds. After all that, we're now level 10, and I've even figured out how to craft bear traps, which I have successfully stress tested on a small child. Works like a charm. Let's finish up a few more quests and then go straight to
Where's he
Nuka-World. I was in
naked?
Bunker Hill admiring the absolute girth of this man's biceps when I was approached by
Bro.
Edward Deegan. He took me to Cabot House to accept a quest from John Cabot, who wants us to steal some secret serum from a psychotic gentleman living in a shack on top of a hill, which is fine.
Andrew
However,
Tate
John bears
Lamau.
a striking resemblance to the Zodiac Killer, and so I wasn't sure if I could trust
Holy
him.
shit,
That's
it's-
why I covertly stole and hid exactly one of his pool balls. If he betrays me, he'll never get this back, and the loss of a singular ball in an otherwise perfect set will almost certainly drive him to a suicidal rage. This is what we call establishing collateral.
What? Well,
Anyway, I
bro.
went to the insane guy's shack to get the serum, but an acorn fell on the
shit.
ground and it spooked me, so I spent the next 55 seconds nuking the man's house until I stopped getting hit markers.
You know what? It's better safe than sorry. This is what I do. Whenever I'm you know, concerned or worried, if I'm going somewhere, I'll just nuke it like this until I know there's no threats available and I can go inside in peace. I just saw all to kill, bro.
I grabbed the vial, went back to Cabot, lied to him and said the serum was gone, before taking it out of my inventory, waving it in front of his face, and injecting it in my neck just for fun. For good measure, I also smashed a bunch of his research equipment and stole this fancy camera.
Why is this guy a fucking bitch to the NPCs,
Only one
bro?
more quest to go, then we're off to Nuka-World. It's time to go help Paladin dance.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my...
I rushed to his distress signal as fast as I could, but upon
No,
arriving,
I'm not
it seemed
commenting
like
on
he
that
had
one.
things under control.
Hi.
I talked to Dance, and he asked me to accompany him on a mission to salvage technology from some nearby ruins. This quest was awful, but I do have a few tips. First of all, you're going to come across a gang of bandits robbing some traders. This is an interesting interaction that I recommend observing from a distance. Second, if you hear any variation of the
No
phrase,
shit.
"We've got company," you need to run for
Oh
cover,
my God.
because there is a 90%
Oh
chance
my
Paladin Dance is about to pivot like LeBron James and nuke the shit out of you for being within 20 feet of a bloatfly.
Holy shit.
If and when you do finally make it to the destination, the synths inside are very dangerous, so I recommend a tactical approach, such as watching through a sheet of plexiglass as Paladin Dance does all the hard work. Also, when you get to
You
the
know what? That'd be my strat. That'd be my strat
basement,
right
don't
there.
forget to accidentally melt off Dance's face with this rocket exhaust. Trust me.
Okay, yeah, this mission, this specific part, is bullshit. It's so bullshit. That is a jet engine. I don't think there's anything that could protect a person. I know he's in power armor, and I know it's like super strong and shit, but like the Fallout TV show showed just how like I guess like not indestructible it is. Like there's no way this would
He
protect
actually
him.
likes it.
Because he didn't even have his helmet on, right? He has his helmet
After
off.
that, you just go upstairs, grab the tech, and it's all over. It's not a great quest, but it does give us the junk jet, which is some kind of pneumatic catapult for weaponizing random garbage. While it doesn't fire atomic bombs, it does allow me to kill my opponents by cracking them in the forehead with dirty cigarette trays, which is something that resonates with me deeply. Finally, we're now level 16 with maxed out luck, a few helpful perks, and a new rifle that has a 50-round drum mag along with a bayonet for close quarters combat. But before we go any further, I need to warn you about something, because the fine people at Makeship have infiltrated my apartment, stolen my genetic material, and created hundreds of clones of me that are conveniently the correct size and
I'm not gonna lie, that's so fucking cute. Holy shit.
a mason jar. But you wouldn't do that.
No, no, not the jar. Please, not the jar. I know what happens in the jar. Please, not the jar.
Right? Anyway, for a limited time, we're going to be selling these Reggie plushies, and I highly recommend picking one up.
Those are so
Reggie,
cute.
what can I use this for? Well, I like to use mine as my own personal hostage. You see, he's relatively small, which makes him very easy to overpower. Sometimes I also like to wave a big knife in front of his face. It fills me with a sense of control that
Okay, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said Reggie is very like Seth, and Seth is very like Reggie. I feel like this is something Seth would do, unironically.
I've long since lost in my life. Also, he has no legs with which to run, no mouth with which to scream, only eyes with which he may observe me perform.
But they're so cute. Look at them.
War dances as I prepare to take his life. But if that's not exactly your style, he also makes a pretty good stress ball. So you've got 30 days to take me hostage. Do you think you have what it takes?
Well,
if so,
I
click
would
the
have.
pinned link in the comments and put yourself down for as much of me as you think you can handle. Then prepare yourself. Now back to the video.
If I knew about Reggie beforehand, when this was a thing, I 100% would have bought one of those. 100% would have bought one.
I arrived at the Nuka-World Transit Center with determination, because from here we can take a tram to the amusement park. The only thing stopping us is a small army of bandits, robots, and rooftop snipers.
Oh no, not the Korean snipers. Oh no.
I must have died about 15 times at this part before I settled on just firing 30 nukes into the sky and hiding in the parking garage.
I'm telling you, artillery wins every time.
While all of my enemies were turned to ash. I made my way down to the tram, where this guy was telling me raiders had taken his family hostage at Nuka-World. Apparently he escaped and was shot in the process. But the fact he didn't have a single drop of blood anywhere on his body led me to believe this man was a liar. So I politely excused myself.
See? I called it. I knew he's a liar.
My junk jet with steel ingots and then came back and pulverized his heart with a high-velocity metal slug. Now his story about being wounded...
Sorry. This idea of firing a steel ingot at somebody like that is just fucking ridiculous.
More believable. After this, I jumped on the tram and it took me to the promised land. I arrived and it was beautiful. A voice came over the speaker and told me two things. One, I'm trapped, and two, the only way to escape is to survive the Gauntlet. I surveyed my surroundings.
No, not the Gauntlet. No.
Bodies of several.
Oh wait, this is where the power armor guy went, in the bumper car area?
Male prostitutes. So I'm going to go ahead and say my chances aren't great, but let's give it a shot. Room 1. A large lobby full of rusted junk. If the tetanus doesn't kill you, the machine gun turrets firing nukes definitely will.
Oh.
Also, the ceilings are very low.
I forgot about the machine gun turrets. Holy fuck.
Which makes it easy for you to blow yourself up. So I recommend using VATs. Even if your chance to hit is low, it doesn't really matter, because it's more of a concern type weapon anyway. After that, it's on to room 2. This room was supposed to be armed with several booby traps. However, the nuclear detonation we unleashed on the last room seems to have spilled over and disabled most of them. The key word being most. After reassembling my body parts, I moved to room 3, which presented us with 3 doors to choose from. Door 2 was a room full of human heads, which appear to have been decapitated in the middle of nutting, while door 3 contained a bouquet of live grenades. I'm flattered.
Oh fuck.
Escaping through door 1.
For a minute, I thought the grenades were gonna be fucking nukes.
Radiation room, which was giving me 60 rads per second. In order to avoid developing Stage 4 League of Legends, I took a near
Stage 4 League of Legends, holy shit.
Radiation medication and ran around in a fugue state until I found the keys to escape. Next was a maze full of bizarre traps and animatronic aliens. Fairly simple, just don't underestimate the overgrown rats, because they will not hesitate to put you down. After this was a tunnel full of
bro got taken out by a rat. I want you to remember that. Bro. That's like being taken out by a grunt in Halo.
Landmines. Sprint through it at top speed and across this definitely up-to-code wooden bridge. Uh-oh, it collapsed, and you're now being attacked by shellfish. Assert terrestrial dominance before proceeding.
Is it weird? I haven't played Fallout 4 in a long time. I don't remember this. I played the DLC
The hardest room
too.
of all, the gas chamber. It's here where we get locked into a room which is quickly filling with phosphine gas. If we don't get through this door in the next 30 seconds, we'll be dead. So here's the plan. Take a bunch of drugs to numb the pain of your lungs being dissolved. Stab all these bugs while making sure to fill your pockets with their succulent meat for later. And then hop on this computer and open the escape door. That leads us to a shed full of flying ants, which are surprisingly difficult to hit with a nuke. The torture of this
how can you not? How do you miss ants with a
room is a
nuke?
little more abstract, but it's very real nonetheless. Then quickly run through this cage area while people shoot at you from above. Just kidding, you can't do this quickly and you're going to die at least a dozen times. But after that, we're finally at the last stage of the
Okay, this part I remember. This is the part I remember from Nuka-World.
See that guy down there in the power armor covered in blood? Yeah, we're going to fight him and he's invincible. But we have a secret weapon. It's not a high-powered rifle or even a rocket launcher. Instead, our secret weapon is a plastic water gun. The plan, in theory, is that our enemy is receiving power to his suit from this exposed electrical line. And if we can cover him in water, well, that probably wouldn't be very good. Alright, let's give it a shot.
Just pistol him,
They counted us down and opened the gates, at which point I charged head first into my opponent. He responded by blowing off all of my limbs with a nuclear bomb. Clearly, we need a different approach. The guy is actually invincible, but I found out that I can stay in the starting area and snipe him with the water gun to disable his arm.
Snipe him with the water gun is such a weird statement.
I followed up with like 20 nukes to finish him off. Following this, a
Let's
lot
go.
of exposition happens, but I'm going to summarize it really quickly. That guy we just electrocuted, yeah, he was the CEO of Nuka-World, and the
that means by right of armed combat, you are now the
Raiders that
CEO.
live here seem to
Congrats.
put a lot of respect on violently murdering your political opponents, so they now recognize me as their leader. This is fantastic, and it comes with a lot of perks. For example, I now live at the peak of Fizztop Mountain with a lovely view over all of my employees.
You are now one of my elite employees!
Also, since I'm the boss, I can go to the market.
I don't know if I want to be one of her employees.
Steal things right out of the display case and then sell them back to the shop owner for free money. The downside is that
my god, that's
Nuka-World is divided
amazing.
into 6 parks, with only one of them being under our control. So it's our job to liberate the remaining parks directly into my authoritarian governance. Then, once we have them, we can distribute them to the different raider factions according to which of their political philosophies.
Okay, why did you guys side with the disciples? I know nobody sided with the furries, but why did you all side with the disciples?
I find the most amusing. So it's time to go meet the gangs. Operating out of Fizztop Mountain is the Disciples, which is a faction that couldn't be any edgier even if they were actively pulverizing the elderly in a hydraulic press. This is strangely juxtaposed against the fact that they don't know how many belts you can wear before people stop taking you seriously. Overall, they're my...
You know what? I never looked at that, but he's 100% right. That's over the top, even for a fucking raider in a post-apocalypse.
The second faction is the Operators. Their primary concern is making money at the cost of human life, which is my personal favorite philosophy. However, they have...
I fucking knew he was gonna say something along those lines, motherfucker.
mental disorder, which precludes them from wearing clothes that actually fit. I don't know exactly why, but this makes me extraordinary.
Wait, yeah, why aren't they so skinny?
And I regularly have to restrain myself from killing them. Fortunately, I found a good compromise. Instead of creating a civil war by nuking their entire faction, I just swing by every few days, find a random operator, and secretly deposit a live grenade in his pocket. Lastly, there's the Pack. They have a relatively experimental...
That was them. That was it. The pack of the furries, yeah?
With a nice selection of chairs. But whenever you want to talk to their leader, you're going to be forced to listen to the bite.mp3 sound effect for hours on end, because they installed a dogfight pit in the middle of their base. This immediately and...
See, they're monsters for that. They deserve nuking just for that alone, for the dogfight.
From receiving any further attention from me whatsoever. With introductions out of the way, it's time to start expanding our operation and making some big money. There's 5 parks to acquire: Galactic World, Dry Rock Gulch, Safari Adventure, the Nuka-Cola bottling plant, and Kitty Kingdom. First up is Galactic World.
I love how they actually, like, you know, the assembly plant is classed as a theme park attraction, just like the place where people work and do all the labor. Oh, that's a theme park.
This is a space-themed park inhabited by hundreds of robots. However, someone spilled their Dr. Pepper on the AI mainframe, and it caused the robots to become violent murder machines. It's not great for business, so I went there and started fighting my way through the streets. The first thing I noticed was that there's
He just fucking crouch walking through.
Luckily, they don't seem to work very well, and usually spend their entire time in a life-or-death battle against the ceiling. However, don't get too comfortable, because on at least one
how to tell if you're schizophrenic or not? Fucking hell, Jesus.
The air pressure from these explosions caused my cranium to detonate forcefully. Other than that, just keep an eye out for Mr. Frothy, who is very fast and will startle you into jumping off a bridge and subsequently dying in a nuclear explosion. Anyway, I made my way to the control room, where I'm able to turn off the robots. Only problem, it's broken, and it needs a total of 20 star cores to repair it. Unfortunately...
Oh, so that's what they're for. Okay, I remember those core things, and I found like 1 or 2, so I have no idea what they do with, and I just went on with the rest of the game.
All over the park, in the safekeeping of several automatons that would like to crush my neck like a can of soda. But much like a restraining order, I viewed this as a challenge.
I'm okay. I'm good.
Do you really think
I'm good.
I can't get within 100 feet of you? So I began wandering around.
I didn't like her out. That was horrible.
Looking for these cores, which led me to a building called the Robco Battle Zone. My hopes of this name being metaphorical
Wait, what was
were quickly
this?
dashed when upon entering I died about 37 different times. Part of the issue is that the mini nuke mod isn't working perfectly on the robots, and some of them are shooting me with laser beams. While my supple body is perfectly optimized for dying in nuclear explosions, it does very little to protect me against this space-age technology. But just like how the lifeguards at the YMCA can't stop me from drinking the pool water, these robots couldn't stop me from blasting my way into the battle zone. At which point, I was promptly locked inside and forced to fight a variety of enemies which entered from these doors and...
You know what? I should have just fucking assumed it'd been like a fucking arena. I generally don't remember this part.
Hydraulic platforms. The robots were tough, but the primary difficulty in this cramped space was finding a place to detonate a nuke that wouldn't instantly vaporize me. First, we had to survive some protectrons and a swarm of iBots. No problem.
Oh god, the iBots.
The Novatrons. Even easier. Then our final opponent was the Space Sentry.
Securitron, not Securitron. What's it called? Sentry Bar. That's it, Sentry Bar. I always thought the Sentry Bars were really fucking cool. Like one of the cooler robot designs in Fallout. I hope we get to see one in the show. Bro's getting his shit pushed in.
Yeah, he got the better of me. But as the saying goes,
fucking
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'll obliterate you with nuclear weapons. And we did just that. With the
I don't think that's how it goes, I'm gonna be real. I don't think that's how it goes.
And moved on to the next building, the Interstellar Theater. Surely a fucking theater can't be as dangerous as the battle zone, I thought to myself.
Wrong.
But boy, was I wrong. Very, very, very wrong. The entire auditorium was full of robots, and honestly, I was only able to conquer this area through the repeated use of a strategy I like to call kill one guy and then save the game. While searching for the star cores, I found a Nuka-Cola mixing station, which allowed me to combine a Nuka-Cola beer with another Nuka-Cola beer to create double beer. Some people will claim that AI and vaccines are the greatest advancements of the past century, but to that I asked, can you get drunk on polio vaccines? I didn't think so. That's why double double beer is the real scientific pinnacle of our generation.
Shut up.
After completing my schizophrenic monologue about alcohol, I found the star course next to a few decomposing junkies in the washroom. Very nice. The last building wasn't as bad. Vault Tech Among the Stars is a recreation vault life experience, outfitted with realistic living rooms, indoor gardens, and even an entire room dedicated to giving you cancer. I'm feeling nostalgic already. Strangely, as my character progressed through this area, he was getting recurring headaches. I chalked it up to a brain tumor and thought nothing of it, but it turns out the whole vault was actually just one giant experiment in subliminal messaging. According to this observation log, they're broadcasting a high frequency over the PA that's meant to induce degenerate behavior such as pissing your pants. Joke's on them, they
That actually in the game? What?
just wasted millions of dollars to make me do something that I was already going to do anyway. Following this, I slaughtered a bunch of automatons, found a really nice shotgun, immediately flashed back to all of those times I killed myself with a shotgun.
Yeah, bad
and then
idea,
quickly
bro, bad
unequipped
idea.
it before finding the remaining star cores and rushing back to the mainframe. With the help of computer scientist extraordinaire and definitely not dead person Kendall Alston, I was able to repair the
Definitely
computer
not
and
dead.
pacify all of the AI, meaning we can now walk around the park without having to worry about a medical robot electrifying our testicles. With the robot subjugated, I went upstairs and raised a flag to officiate the conquest of Galactic
Let's
World.
go.
Our empire is expanding, and the next theater of war is the Wild West.
No.
Dry Rock
The
Gulch is
wor-
an
actually, no,
arid
it's not the
wasteland
worst one.
inhabited primarily by dead bodies, which should make it an easy target. So I made my way there and quickly realized where
The
all the
worms,
dead bodies came
right?
from. Because within moments of arriving, I was attacked by subterranean bloodworms. Yeah, these little bastards tunnel around underground.
I
and
remember
ambush
these
you when you least
fuckers.
expect it, which means they're either under
Okay, I take it back. This probably was the worst part of Nuka-World. I'll be real. These fucking... Oh god, I
ground,
hated
so
them.
you can't kill them, or they're firmly latched onto your jugular vein in such a way that makes using a nuclear bomb seem a little too risky. In this case, I recommend treating the entire area as a high-stakes
The
game
floor is
of
lava.
the floor is lava.
Yeah.
Eventually, I came down to chat with the sheriff, who informed me that he'll give us the park if we can get rid of the bandits coming out of this building. One problem, the building is locked, and I need combination codes from the Giddy Up Kid, One-Eyed Ike, and Phosphorus Pete to gain entry. I really wish he told me
I
this
don't
before
remember this
I
part.
carpet bombed the entire park, because I'm pretty sure I killed all of those people. This was an irritating development, but my anger quickly faded after the sheriff appointed me as his deputy and gave me this excellent cowboy.
He looks like Woody from Toy Story almost.
Upon reloading the save, I found the Giddy Up Kid, who explained that some cattle rustlers had stolen his loyal steed, and he wants me to bring it back. In case you're wondering, he's talking about an inanimate object, but it was like 4 a.m. at this point in the recording, so I just played along with it.
Rustle up some horses for you, huh, cowboy? I'll be back before sundown.
I searched the grounds for all of 13 seconds before finding the torso of a giddy-up buttercup stuffed inside this man's anal cavity. I grabbed it and dropped its dismembered body inside the horse pen. Our friend was mildly dismayed.
What happened to Giddy Up Buttercup? They butchered her up like a cow.
But he still gave us his part of the combination code, so I
sad.
don't really care. Next, I sauntered into a saloon where I met Phosphorus Pete. He wants us to deliver some Nuka-Cola to the residents of Dry Rock Gulch. No problem.
The people of Dry Rock go.
And before you ask,
God,
yes,
that
all of
hurts.
the people we delivered soda to were in fact dead bodies. Which
Dead.
I made sure to tell Pete.
I'm afraid everyone's dead.
Well, that ain't good.
Doesn't matter though, the quest is done, and Pete rewarded us with his code, along with a large quantity of alcoholic Nuka-Cola, which I quickly became addicted
Let's
to.
go.
From here, I sought out One-Eyed Ike to complete our final test, which, much to my dismay, would be a duel at 10 paces. Ike gave me a 44
God.
Magnum and started counting down, but unfortunately,
God.
I was
God.
still
Oh, God.
stunlocked by the idea that an amusement park mascot was programmed to hand
Yeah.
out loaded revolvers to children before shooting them, which resulted in Ike getting the better of me.
So
Second attempt at
welcome.
the duel, I won, but I won a little too hard, and Ike wasn't alive to give me his code. Third time's the charm. For this,
Shit.
I decided to swap to the junk jet, and after blasting Ike in the head with a steel ingot and an empty beer bottle, he conceded defeat and gave me the final piece of code. Now we can enter this mine shaft, destroy the Bloodworm Queen, and claim Dry Rock Gulch. Honestly, this part was pretty easy. There's really only 2 things you need to do. 1, make sure you break into the office so you can equip this cool duster and pretend you're playing an actually good Fallout.
Wait, isn't that Preston Grady's
Okay,
fucking duster? And I'm gonna catch flack for saying this. I think Fallout 3 was better than Fallout New Vegas. I played all of them. I played Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76. You know, I played all the Fallout games. Not the originals because those are like trying to do map. I would love to play the original Fallout games. I just can't. I can't. The menu system is just impenetrable. Impenetrable. I cannot figure it out for the life of me. I have them on Steam. I just cannot figure out
This
how to
last
play
thing
them.
should go without saying, but do not jump in the pit full of dead cows, because they'll erupt
Jump in
with
the
dozens
pit.
of bloodworms, and it makes for a very stressful experience. Other than that, I just nuked everything inside and completed the quest. Not too bad. After raising
God.
the flag, we're all
Sorry,
done at Dry
no.
Rock Gulch, and on to the next target, Safari Adventure. I approached the park and observed a man doing battle with a large creature. I chased it off by shooting it with 3 nukes, all of which it survived. This was not a good sign.
Ow.
Anyway, the guy started
No,
talking to
yeah.
me, and from a distance I had assumed he was some kind of male stripper, meant to appeal to the female fantasy of being bludgeoned to death with a sledgehammer. But actually, he's just a cave.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's
Man who
accurate.
was raised by gorillas, which is marginally more believable. His name is Cedo, and he used his caveman
Honestly,
dialect
yeah.
to explain that Safari Adventure is overrun with gator claws that are being cloned in a big triangle house, and I need to disable the cloning machine to
Big
claim the park.
triangle
I
house.
briefly considered putting a revolver in my mouth as a preferable alternative, but after I heard him using 150% of his brain power to forcibly enunciate the word facility, I felt bad and accepted the quest.
Oh.
So I set out searching for a key to the triangle house, and thankfully the gators weren't much of a problem. I mean, they didn't have any nukes, which was a pretty big deal right off the bat. However, they are
You
very
know what?
tanky,
True.
so just use literally any gun that goes full auto, and you should be absolutely fine. In fact, if you want to make it especially simple, you can just go to the top of this treehouse and firebomb the entire map. Honestly,
my
I think
God,
the hardest battle
That's
I had here
busted.
was against my alcoholism that I had acquired in Dry Rock Gulch. Eventually, I found the
That you just being weak, bro.
key,
Man
let
up.
myself into the cloning facility, and started clearing it out. I felt kind of guilty for slaughtering all these dumb animals with nuclear weapons, so I
Why? They would eat you alive if they could. They're gators and death claws. Both of them monsters. Ergo,
thought I'd try
death.
fist fighting one of them just to get my anger levels back
Are you
up again.
insane?
It worked like a charm. Anyway, I blasted some gators, hacked into
Blah.
the computer, and turned off the cloning device. I told Cedo the good news, and he was so excited that he gifted me a rocket-propelled aluminum bat that presumably he has engineered himself. Not really clear on that. What I am clear on is that the park now belongs to us. On that note, let's go to the 4th park, the Nuka-Cola bottling plant. An industrial complex which, judging by the automated turrets and unmarked minefields, was
no.
probably run by Jeff Bezos. There's also a little section
Very, very, very accurate. 100%. I could believe that. I could believe Jeff Bezos has that.
called the World of
100%.
Refreshments, which I spent some time exploring. And by exploring, I mean I was pulverizing crustaceans to death with a baseball bat. Back outside,
Let's
I was feeling a little
go.
guilty about the power disparity between myself and the crabs, so I decided to handicap myself by asserting my vertebrate dominance with nothing but a flare gun. This was a
Huh?
massive mistake, because out of the lake emerged the Queen Mirelurk, and
Oh,
she's pretty
God.
tough. A direct hit with the nuke does about 10% damage, and sometimes she likes to spit acid on me and melt off all of my skin. And as if that wasn't bad
Bruh.
enough, she has a whole harem of Mirelurk kings to chase me down and pound the shit out of me while I'm reloading. However, I navigated this
With your
problem
best
by
luck,
applying my
kitty.
universal solution, which was to
Oh,
take a lot
no.
of drugs and run really, really fast. This helped create some distance, which allowed me to pick off the ads before circling back and slow motion nuking the Queen Mirelurk to an early retirement.
Slow
I
motion
cannot imagine
nuking.
how embarrassing it must be to have your entire
Okay, but for real though, that was kind of cinema. That was cinema. That was kind of fucking cinema right there. Come on, you gotta admit, that was kind
colony
of cinema.
destroyed by this dickhead. But luckily, she won't have to worry about that, because she's dead and the bottling plant is now ours. On to the next target.
Let's go.
This is it, the final park. Kitty Kingdom. As a professional YouTuber who owns a copy of Minecraft, this could be the most dangerous park of them all. Previously a children's theme park with several rides and a castle, it has now been renovated into an industrial gas chamber, with radioactive fumes being pumped into the area at regular intervals. Also, it's inhabited by
Cool guy, right? I remember
hundreds
now,
of
I
feral
remember.
ghouls, which are relatively easy to kill.
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
they close distance very quickly, and melee combat has become substantially more hazardous, thanks to the mysterious stranger who
Then go back
sometimes
to
shows up
nuking
and
them.
nukes the shit out of me. The only upside is that I have this cryogenic shoulder
Bro.
pad, which sometimes freezes my enemies solid, at which point I can take my time in knocking off all of their limbs with a baseball bat. Anyway, our goal here is to defeat Oswald the Outrageous and seize control of the park. He's hiding somewhere, and I decided to start my search in the funhouse. Upon entering, we had to navigate a labyrinth of mirrors, which was fairly easy because none of the mirrors were reflective. Instead, they appeared to be coated in several layers of dried ejaculant. However, while I was marveling at the artisanal craftsmanship of the mirrors, I failed to notice the several landmines scattered about the floor. After limping my way through the maze, I spot Oswald in this control room. I attempt to get closer, and he throws a grenade at me. What a dick. From here, I engage in what was either high-level platforming or low-level astronaut training before entering the hallway of hypnosis.
Low-level astronaut
I won't lie,
training.
this part was actually mildly disorienting. In fact, at one point, I had to use a dead guy just to confirm I wasn't actually hallucinating. I fumbled my way through this section and into a spinning room with about 24 doors all around it. One door led to that thing that happens when you open OBS. Another presented us with the illusion.
Oh my god, yeah. What is that thing called? They never let me don't know what that is, but it always happens.
Happy family. And of course, there was the classic room full of flamethrowers, positively delightful.
Oh god.
By the time I found the correct door, Oswald had already escaped, so I moved on to search for him in King Cola's castle. Never mind.
Well, if there's any like amusement park thing I want, it's the Pepsi Max castle. I want a castle dedicated to the nectar that is Pepsi Max. I will fight tooth and nail. Pepsi Max is better than Coke. I'm sorry, it just is. It is the best. I have a can of it next to me while we're watching this, so drink
out.
out.
The park has more traps than I thought, not the least of which are the amusement rides themselves. In fact, I have personally witnessed several park employees being killed, maimed, or otherwise dismembered by the rides here, and it's only been like 20 minutes. Of course, I had to try this for myself with the roller coaster carts.
Oh my
I realized that it's a lot like boxing. When you expect to get hit, it doesn't do that much damage. But it's the punch you don't see coming that will decimate you. After this, I strolled around the park a bit more, killing ghouls and rummaging through garbage bins, until I wandered my way into some employee tunnels. I sprinted through the tunnels like a wild animal, at which point I found Oswald talking to one of his staff members in his office. Naturally, I wanted to return the grenade he had thrown at me earlier. This did not work, and I felt like an idiot, so I just kind of took that one on the chin. But it wasn't all bad, because after Oswald disappeared in a puff of smoke, I went into the office and found my next stylistic evolution. Oh yeah, this is gonna work just fine. Alright, well that does it. There's only one
You know
place
what?
left
Looking
for
good,
Oswald
Pro.
to be hiding,
You
the
did
theater.
you.
I
Live your
broke in
best
with all the
fight.
grace of a homeless drug addict and started talking with Oswald. He was trying to convince me that he has magical abilities, and he said he was going to show me one of his greatest tricks. Then, he punched me in the head and ran away. Truly a master of the mystical arts. I followed him up to the roof, where he gave me some shitty...
Just comes up, his fucking cold touch you in the fucking head, just sucker punches you in the face, and then runs off giggling into the mouth.
About being a sympathetic villain, but at this point, I was so tired of chasing him around the park and getting hit by roller coasters that I opted for immediate violence. In response, Oswald unleashed his most powerful magic trick of all, crashing my game. 3 minutes later, we were back, and the fight was on. Oswald was much higher level than me, and he had a grand time cutting off my limbs with his fancy sword. However, I managed to counter this by simply jumping over a railing, at which point he could no longer stab me. His method of coping with this was to bathe me in Molotov cocktails, but they don't hurt that much, and I've got enough drugs to stay up here for weeks. I am aware that this tactic borders on cheating, so I'm prepared to negotiate. Instead of staying up here and nuking Oswald into oblivion, I will instead empty out the entire contents of my junk section into the junk jet and kill Oswald with the physical manifestations of my hoarding disorder. This included everything from light bulbs to rolls of duct tape, but the primary ingredient was 156 stacks of pre-war money, which I spent the next 20 minutes bouncing off Oswald's head.
No, Jesus Christ, just
This
no.
was very enjoyable, albeit not especially effective, because Oswald seems to legitimately be invincible. I shot him with 200 junk items, he barely noticed, ran him into 6 fragmentation mines, he walked it off, and even when I got desperate enough to nuke him, he would just reset his health bar. This kind of freaked me out, so I panicked and shot him like 50 times, at which point I realized he wasn't damage immune, just damage resistant, and now he's dead. I stole his clothing in order to complete my Charlie and the Chocolate Factory cosplay, and quickly raised the flag on Kitty Kingdom, indicating our complete conquest over Nuka-World. All that's left to do is to go to the power station and press the big red button to finally power up the park. And just like that, we are the CEO of the world's finest slavery-themed amusement park, which gives us quite a few benefits. For example, all of the rides are now operational. And I can't confirm this, but it is my personal headcanon that we're receiving our electricity from a small armada of slaves running on hamster wheels. Also, we can even gather up a gang of raiders and go out into the Commonwealth to recruit more employees through what I like to call competitive hiring practices. So now that we've achieved our primary goal, what's left for us? Well, according to mustache enthusiast Christopher Vogler, the final stage of the hero's journey is to return home as a changed man. In our case, that would be Sanctuary, and as a matter of fact, I am a changed man. Because whatever final thread of sanity had previously prevented me from killing all of these people has finally been severed.
No! Bro! This is such a fucked up edit. Holy fuck! Oh my fuck.
Well, it's finally over. We've conquered a world where the only projectile ever invented was nuclear bombs. I want to thank this month's patrons for supporting the channel. Don't forget to check out Makeship to purchase and abuse my likeness. And finally, thank you for watching.
I completely understand why you told me to watch this one. Holy fuck. That was a saga. That was a journey. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I certainly fucking did. I can't wait to watch more Reggie, more Seth. Actually, yeah. Okay, out of Seth and Reggie, what videos do you want me to watch next? Also, Ricky and Warhammer. I want to get into that more, so what would you like me to react to with regards to Bricky and Warhammer in general? Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!